Alright, so today is Foundation Friday. This is where I do foundation reviews, routines, whatever I'm feeling, anything having to do with foundation, every single Friday on my channel, 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm wearing silver today and it feels weird. When was the last time I wore silver? I feel like it was like 2017. Today I'm going to be showing you my current foundation routine because I have a good one right now, you guys. I got a good group of products here, and I also have a couple dupes in this video, and there's some different kind of products in here, like not products that are super talked about. Like I always say, disclaimer, products work differently for different people. Everyone's skin is different. Things that I recommend might work amazing for you, or they might not. Do your own research, read different reviews, watch different videos before you decide to purchase something. These are just my experiences with products. If you're new here, I upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, if you want to stick around. If not, that's cool too, but I hope you will. Let's get into it. Okay, I cleaned my filming table last night. I am ready to roll. Still gotta clean my makeup brushes, but that's another story. So I recently did a current favorites video, and a few of the products I'm going to be mentioning and using in today's video were from that video. Those are my favorites. This is my current routine. Makes sense. So SPF, the Purito Centella Unscented. I like the scented version too, but this is SPF 50. It's just such a nice all around, not sticky, no white residue, everyday kind of SPF for underneath makeup. It's very challenging to do this with giant ass hoops on. Why do I always do routine videos, like foundation routines, with hoops? I think this one would be good no matter what your skin type is, whether you're dry, normal, or oily. And I went through this in a recent Foundation Friday video, but I was dry for years after Accutane, like for a couple years, and I would say right now I'm more on the normal side. I do still get dry, but I would say just on a day-to-day basis I'm kind of more normal, especially just with it being summer right now. So we'll see once the weather kind of changes. This is a Korean product you can get on e.l.f. for around 13 bucks, so it's pretty affordable. And out of all the SPFs I've tried, I've probably tried about 30 to 40. This is definitely in about my top 3, I would say. So I just think it's a good one, especially for underneath makeup. So I usually do my SPF and then drink coffee and do my thing in the morning. So I like to give this a few minutes to kind of absorb into my skin before going in with primer and foundation and everything else. So we're gonna do that. Let me tell you, it was the wrong day to choose to wear a silk long sleeve shirt in here. I'm schwitzing under these lights. So while that is absorbing into my skin, I wanted to take a second to thank Hailey's Beauty for working with me again and supporting my channel and sponsoring a portion of today's video. I've worked with Hailey's Beauty in the past on my glass skin makeup tutorial video using their BB drops, which are my pride and joy. I'm actually not going to be using these in today's video, but I'm going to be featuring 3 other of their products that I got to choose. I got to choose all the products I wanted to feature in today's video. But the founder of Hailey's Beauty is a female chemist. They are vegan and cruelty-free, and they're formulated with skincare ingredients. But now that the SPF is absorbed into my skin, the first product I'm going to be using, I'm going to use the Hailey's Beauty Refine Face Primer. It looks like it's going to be too dark. Don't be scared if you're around my skin tone. It blends out to be just kind of clear. But I mentioned this in my current favorites video. I've been on the hunt for a good blurring primer ever since I found out that my Revlon one has been discontinued. Classic, because I feel like so many primers say that they're blurring, and then you put them on and you look exactly the same. So this is one that I feel like actually does something to my pores, and is probably due to their spherical powder. Spherical powder is their like super ingredient that's in a few of their products, and it kind of gives that Instagram filtery blurred kind of effect. It's obviously not gonna, you know, blur everything, but I need all the blurring I can get on this textured skin, okay? So I love the packaging of this one. It's just a tiny little squeeze tube, and I just use about this much. This primer also has vitamin C to help brighten the skin tone. So I like to apply this primer everywhere. It has a very soft kind of feel to it. And I've been testing this for a few months now. So I've tried it with a bunch of different foundations, and again, this is one that I don't find to be finicky with foundation. Some primers, especially blurring primers, can be kind of weird with certain foundations and grab weird. I've also been liking to put this on even if I'm not wearing foundation that day, because I just feel like it gives an overall kind of softening to the skin. I feel like I'm like in the camera right now. Hailey's Beauty gave me a coupon code for you guys. So you can get $5 off your order over $15. If you spend $50, you get $5 off with the code Taylor. And you don't have to be first time on your site. If it's your 2nd, 3rd, 15th order on there, you can still get $5 off with the code Taylor. It is not an affiliate code. I don't earn anything from that code, just FYI, it's just a discount code. So I'll leave the link to Hailey's Beauty down below along with the discount code Taylor, but you can get it off your whole order, any product. Okay, so next off, I am so freaking excited about this discovery. So I mentioned this also in my current favorites video, but I wanted to show you guys it applied, and it's what I've been reaching for. This is the Purito Snail Clearing BB Cream. Not the most appealing name, I will say. This has SPF 38. It says Luminous Cover BB Cream. I use the shade 21 Light Beige. This doesn't have a great shade range. It is a Korean BB cream, so that is a downside. I'm just going to try and say this in the quickest, most concise way possible, but basically this is one of the most kind of customizable, long-wearing, beautiful skin-like products I have found. So I can wear this on no makeup days, very sheer, and it just looks like skin. Or I can wear it completely full coverage with a full face of makeup. It lasts beautiful on my skin, and it can look like a full coverage foundation. It is very customizable, and I love it for that. It's pretty much a perfect shade match for me. I love the finish. It's not overly dewy, but not matte. It's around $10 on YesStyle, and it has almost 5 stars, so it seems to be pretty well liked, which obviously I understand. I agree. And the consistency of this is actually pretty creamy and a little bit thick, so I like to use my fingers with this one. I've tried it with a brush, I've tried it with sponges. I like my fingers the best with this, and I'm actually going to apply it sheer to start so that you can see what it looks like, and then do full coverage so that you can see what it looks like that way too. Wow, choking on air. The color is going to look gray when it goes on, and then it kind of like adjust to my skin tone a little bit, so just a little warning. But I'm going to start off with a very tiny amount, so like barely any product like that. This is just what I do if I'm going on a walk or something and just kind of want to even out my skin tone and cover up some of the redness. So this is kind of the more sheer light coverage application. So I'm going to warm it up between my fingers a little bit and then just kind of start to press it on. It has kind of like a soft baby powder scent. It's not too overly fragranced, I find, but it does have a little bit of a scent, just FYI. It just looks literally like your skin. This shade is very neutral, so I like kind of a grayish neutral undertone. That's what CYO 101 was. If you're CYO 101, this is a very similar shade to that. It does have that like kind of gray undertone. This is kind of how I would wear it on just light coverage days, where it just evens everything out, gives a little bit of a glow. It just sits on my skin so well, and it's very comfortable. It doesn't feel too tacky. It does set down a little bit, not to a powder finish, but it doesn't have an overly tacky finish. Okay, now I'm going to show you how you can get it to full coverage. So typically I wouldn't do 2 layers. I would just go in with more product off the bat, you know, for full coverage. But you still don't need a lot of product at all to get this to full coverage. That's probably going to be too much because I'm now layering this. So I'm actually just going to start off with like half that amount just so I don't get too much product. And I am kind of breaking out. So you can see the gray kind of tone there. These earrings make it real difficult. Oh my God, it's so pretty. And I've actually worn no concealer with this. Like if you bring it like this underneath your eyes, you almost don't even need under eye concealer since it adds so much coverage and kind of like brightens it up. It almost gives this plump effect to the skin, which is also why I think I love it so much. It does add a little bit of just like a youthful kind of plump look. Doing kind of combo of spreading and then pressing. I'm taking whatever's left over and just bringing it over my eyelids a little bit. All right, so as you can see, I'm pretty much at full coverage. I do have some breakouts down here and they are pretty covered. If I wanted to, I could take a little bit more of this just on my finger. Let's just do it just so you can see and almost use it as like spot concealer a little bit. I would say this is one of the highest coverage BB creams I found so far. It's up there with the e.l.f. for sure. It doesn't crease badly, especially with that pore filling blurring primer underneath. It just sits on my pores really well. And I just love how I can get so many different kind of uses with this. I've also tried mixing this in with foundations, works really well. If you love Estee Lauder Futurist, CYO Life Proof, those kind of like plumping dewy foundations, I think you will love this. It has a very similar effect to CYO. Okay, so next up for concealer, this is one that I feel like I never talk about on my channel, but that I use so much and that I'm actually almost out of. And the only reason why I don't talk about it that often is because it's in my like overnight makeup bag. And it's the Milk Makeup Flex Concealer. This is in the shade Fair. I am scraping the edges with this one. I'm almost out of it. Here's a hair. This concealer is full coverage if you let it chill there for 30 seconds to a minute. So I like to put it on, and because I brought that BB cream right under my eyes, I don't need that much concealer. I'm just gonna use about that much just under my eyes, let it sit there, and then blend it out. By the way, my mom complimented my skin when I was wearing this. That's how you know it's good. She normally doesn't mention makeup things, so I'm gonna blend it out with my brush. So I am going to powder my under eyes, but first I'm going to use a cream bronzer that I've been loving. So I actually went on Instagram stories and I asked you guys a few months ago now, and I asked you what your top cream bronzer was, and overwhelmingly the answer was the Milk Makeup cream bronzer in the shade Baked. So I bought the mini version from Sephora. I've been testing it. I don't love the formula of this. I find that it's one of those that like picks up my foundation a little bit. So if you also have that issue, one of my tricks is using a foundation, like a cream foundation stick as bronzer. It's actually depositing coverage instead of picking it up. And I actually found an exact color dupe for Milk Makeup Baked, which is the Hailey's Beauty Hydrating Foundation Stick. These are their contour / foundation sticks in 4.25. And I'm going to do side-by-side swatch so you can see and show you it blended out so you can see exactly what it looks like side by side. But I did the math on these, actually. My dad did the math on these. I was texting him this morning. If you use the $5 off coupon code, making this $11, this is actually the best deal. It's 95 cents a gram versus the full size of Milk Makeup. This is the mini size. So the mini size is $2.50 per gram, which is a total rip. But the full size, if you got it, was $1 per gram. So Hailey's Beauty is actually the best deal at 95 cents per gram with that discount code. Let me show you these side by side. We're going to do milk on the bottom. And when I first swatch it, you're going to think it looks nothing alike, but once you blend it out, which is, you know, how you do it on your face, they're the exact color. This is hard to do backwards. Hailey's looks like it's going to be more cool tone, but once you blend it out, all right, so there they are blended out side by side. So as you can see, the tone is almost identical. These are just swatches, so keep this in mind, but this is just from my personal experience as well. I feel like this one, like I said, it does pick up my foundation, the Milk Makeup one, a little bit, and it's just a little bit patchier on my skin than the Hailey's. This one, as you can see, since it is a foundation stick, it has more of just like a smooth blend and a little bit more coverage. So if you've also been on the hunt for a good cream bronzer and you've been wanting to try the Milk Makeup one but not wanting to spend the money, this one is more affordable. I think better formula. Okay, so I'm going to blend this out with my Hailey's Beauty sponge. I've talked about this so many times in Foundation Fridays, in other videos. It's one of my go-to sponges now. I don't know why I love this so much, but I love that they printed Hailey's on the sponge, because sometimes you get sponges and they're just all black or all tan or whatever, and then you don't know which is which. Small touch, but I love that. It's very soft, very bouncy. This is dampened, and I like this for applying cream products, for applying foundation. It's just a nice, very soft, very squishy, bouncy, good sponge all around. All right, so I'm going to start and just draw a tiny line. I'm doing this before powder because I personally find on my skin, I prefer that. I just like to do all creams and then all powders, just so nothing gets like weird textured. And you can use a sponge, brush, whatever you want with this. And I find that this shade with this neutral undertone BB cream works really well. Whoa, earring, because it kind of brings warmth back into my face because the BB cream is so kind of neutral gray toned. So as you can see, I'm just kind of bringing the leftover up to my temples and my forehead, and I'm going to kind of clean up that line in a second with powder, so don't you worry. But the finish of this Hailey's product is a little bit on the dewy side, which I like for these kind of cream products, and because it spreads so much, I kind of like to just keep it a little bit of a shorter line. Okay, this clip is coming out much easier. All right, now I'm looking a little more tanned, bronzy. You could also just go straight in on the sponge and just tap it directly on here. Sometimes if I want to do just an all cream look, I'll kind of just stop there, put some Glossier cloud paint on, put a little cream highlight, brush in some brow product, and I'm good to go. All right, now it is powder time. I've been loving the CoverGirl Clean Fresh powders. I use the shade 110 for my under eyes and then 120 for my face. I tried these in a first impressions video. I filmed that a couple weeks before I'm filming this video, so I've been testing these for a couple weeks now, and I actually haven't tried the under eye 110 with a sponge. I've just been trying it with a brush, so I'm going to try it with my usual powder sponge. This is from Shop Miss A. I'm just going to press it on. Whoa! Wow, a little bit of that goes a long way with the sponge. Holy crap. Okay, so I'm going to use a brush, brush away the excess. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have tested that in a routine video. I didn't think it was going to be that drastic of a difference. All right, well, to kind of even all that out, now I'm going to take the 120 shade with my Milani powder bronzer brush and kind of just set down here. And this also kind of cleans up where I don't want the bronzer. And I'm also going to take this around my nose. I like this powder around my nose area. And I am going to add a little bit of a powder bronzer on my cheeks, but I'm not going to add any powder or powder bronzer up here. Bronzer brush I've been so in love with lately is this Youngblood YB2. So I'm going to use it with the Maybelline City Bronzer, who's surprise. This is one of my all-time favorite bronzers in the shade 100. Can just never do wrong. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this to add to my cheeks. The BB cream with this lasts totally good on my forehead without setting it. All right, we're kind of jumping around in the order today, but let's put on some brows before I do highlight. And then especially in the front, while the product is still wet, I'll go back in with a spoolie and just kind of comb it through to soften it a little bit. Okay, so my brows are done. They're definitely not even sisters. They might be long distance third cousins. We are all just trying in this world, okay? Ain't that the truth right now? I'm gonna put on my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot for the time being, just so we don't have to stare at my uneven freckled eyelids more. Okay, so now it is blush and highlight time, and then setting spray. So for blush, I've been kind of going, I don't know, half-half on the blush. Like I'm either all in, I want a ton of blush, put it all over my face, and I want like an intense blush, or I want no blush at all. So I would either like stop here and put on highlight, or I would do blush. So might as well show you blush. So the one I've been kind of reaching for if I want that is always Rosy by e.l.f. I think this is the one I used when I was doing that really tan look. I've been loving this brush for blush. It's the BH Cosmetics Weekend Vibes #1. After this video, I think next week I'll have a BH Cosmetics one brand tutorial going up. It's quite pigmented, but look how pretty that color is. Oh my god, it makes me so excited. And then I always like to do this with my blushes. I just like to take the same powder just to tone down the edges a little bit and make sure it's all blended. And then for highlight, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. This is just such a pretty, everyday, very natural glow from within kind of look where it gives you this kind of radiance without being a highlight really, since it is just kind of a glowy setting powder. I don't like to use it as a setting powder. I don't like loose setting powders typically, but as a highlight, it is beautiful. So I just take a tiny amount like that, tap it in the lid, kind of blend my brush, work it in, just to make sure the brush is kind of like evenly coated, and apply where I would normally apply a highlight. And you can also put this on the high points on your forehead. It looks really pretty. Oh my god. And you could totally build this up to make it look more intense or keep it kind of natural. All right, and then last step for my current base routine is setting spray. And I have another little dupe for you. The Collab Grand Finale 3-in-1 Hydrating Setting Mist. I think this is a dupe pretty much exactly for the Hourglass Veil Soft Focus Setting Spray. These are very, very, very similar. Everything from the mist, let me just try and show you this. This has a super, welcome back. This has a super fine mister on the veil, and the Collab has the same exact thing. Super fine mist. It is so nice. This is a drugstore option from Sally Beauty, and the finish of these are almost exactly the same. They do give this weird, just like soft kind of veil. It is really like a veil. I think that's the perfect name for this setting spray. It does feel hydrating. It's not overly glowy, but it does give kind of a satin finish. I like using this if I don't want to add a ton of glow. Like right now, I feel like my forehead is the perfect amount of glowy, but I want to set everything. And I feel like down here, I could use a little bit more glow. And this one's like $30 cheaper. That mister, I'll never get over it. If you pick this up and you don't have that super fine mist, like if it's splotchy, you definitely got a dud top, just FYI. So return it, get a different one, because that's like one of the reasons why this is so amazing, because it is such a fine mist. All right, so since this is just my base routine video, I'm gonna quickly do my eyes and I will be right back. All Alright, so the rest of my makeup's on. I've basically been doing some variation of this for my eyes, and then I've been wearing this lip combo plus or minus a lip gloss almost every day. So this is basically what I've been doing for the rest of my current makeup routine as well. So I'm going to quickly talk you through the makeup that I reused on the rest of my face. I didn't want to show in real time everything, or else this video would have been like 40 minutes long. But for eyes, I've been loving this palette. This is from a Korean brand. I actually don't know what this is. It's just called All Take Mood palette. The matte shades in here are really nice, and I basically just use these two shades a lot. And then in combination with that, the e.l.f. Cream and Sugar palette, the bite-sized one I've talked about so many times recently, but oh my god, this shade. I put a BH Cosmetics cream colored liner on my waterline, then my favorite McQueen New York liquid liner, Essence Lash Princess volume mascara with my Revlon So Fierce, and then for lower lashes I used the MAC Extended Play. And then for lips, how many times have you heard me talk about this combo? The Sephora liner in the Nudist. Perfect cool tone liner with e.l.f. cream lipstick. But that is everything. That's basically my current foundation routine and everything else I've been doing. I'm going to leave all the products linked down below in the description box, along with the Haley's Beauty code Taylor. You can get $5 off your order. If you want to check out the 3 products I mentioned, along with the BB drops. If you want a full review on the BB drops, check out the glass skin video. Still use those. Still love them. But I hope you enjoyed this Foundation Friday. If you did, you can give this a thumbs up. I do really appreciate it. But I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.